fellow gamer millennials. Today, we recruit Mifa and become interested in her romantically in real life. Thank you so much, society that's built to starve us of touch and conversations about our feelings. All right, let's unlock some other stuff and see if we can power up our boy a little bit so the resulting missions are even faster. We'll get like a little exponential snowball thing going on. Although I don't know why I would need new recipes because I can already cook steamed hams, which are evidently the most superior meal. I never really liked this mechanic where you could just pay money to level up your heroes. Like, I love the insane sadistic need and want to grind heroes up manually, you know, like you did on Cinnabar Island when you didn't realize that just training your Pokemon up in Victory Road was a lot faster for the first Pokemon League. That's dumb. Why not hang out on Cinnabar Island where the cool Pokemon like Missing No are that break your game sometimes? Okay, so thoroughly exhausted Central Hyrule of things to do for now. Gonna progress in the story to see if I can get some more regions to fill things out. I hope I don't have to run around an enormous map that's difficult to navigate this time, you know? You know what I mean? Okay, dope. This one looks a lot more straightforward. This reminds me traumatically of something that happened in Hyrule Warriors. I remember a map similar to this. It was like a desert and there was a timed mission that was really, really difficult. I had to do it over and over and over again, and the mission took like a half hour on its own. That is the thing about this game. The missions do take a significant amount of time. You really got to sit down and plan your day around it, especially if you have like a jillion side hustles and you're also delivering for DoorDash and are also swinging at doors and dashing at doors that apparently don't want to open for you. It was a bamboozle the whole time. I gotta beat ladies with a spoon. That's the best thing to do, really, if you get bamboozled by anybody, is to just harass them with a spoon ad nauseum. I was kind of hoping Rivali would be a little bit more fun to control, but honestly, I'm just like totally confused as to what the advantage of being in the air is and how to take advantage of it, so I'll probably just continue using Link until the end of the game. After experimenting a little bit more with trying to get characters to move around using the give commands option, I realized that it just does not work on this map or something, so onward as Link exclusively, I guess. What's up, Urbosa? What are you saying, girl? Oh, is this another bamboozle? If we're getting bamboozled again, then somebody is getting a spoon in so hard. Urbosa? No, it's Koga. Oh man, prepare for your Venonat to get spooned. Spoonanat. What does Koga mean? Is there some kind of like Japanese lore behind the word Koga? Japanese deep lore is the best. I'll have to look that up later. It appears that just like in Breath of the Wild, these blade masters are insanely tanky and difficult to kill, especially when you're absolutely terrible at the game and refuse to learn and try to get better at it. You just gotta brute force it like you did when the economy dipped in 2008. Just pull up your bootstraps and work harder. I swear to God, I tried to shoot this friggin' thing from the other side of the ledge for a lifetime before I realized that stasis was the only way to get it to appear. I can't believe I'm gonna be chasing like a billion of these little buggers around this game. I'm astounded that Breath of the Wild has a 100% category that people are completing to this day. And I think it was actually pretty short at one point. Like, even if it only takes a minute to get each of the Korok seeds, that's 1,000 minutes. How long is that? I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty grateful that I don't have to fight the giant scary sandworm thing that exists here in Breath of the Wild, and it's just going to chase away our ninja baddies. That's kind of reassuring. Alright. Getting the outposts now, killing more blade masters. This has been kind of a fun map. I know that it was repetitive like the last one with Rivali, but the new enemy mechanics are interesting, and there was kind of that cool cutscene with the sandworm, so I'm going to give it to this one. 7.5 sandworms out of 10. Also, the resemblance to Beetlejuice is that's a benefit. God, I feel like I've been fighting Koga and his stupid Venonat moves for like my entire life. I feel like I just have to abandon this strategy of constantly berating them with my spoon power and actually use the intended mechanics of the game. Like, wait for them to use their special move and dodge out of the way at precisely the right time and stuff. That sounds really boring. Like, more boring than just slapping them with a spoon over and over and over again while I think about my impending doom, crippling debt, and some inevitable failure in the near future. We got him, though. Got him. Yeah, get him, real Urbosa. Hit him with your lightning. That's cool. All the other characters have to, like, use weapons and be, like, kind of normal and sus, but Urbosa's just like, I'm gonna hit him with a lightning bolt. It's kind of like Zeus. Is Urbosa supposed to be something like Zeus? That's a nice callback. I like that. I always dig a deep throwback to Greece. Those guys did some pretty messed up stuff, though, to be honest. Yes, we're getting to that sell the weapons even though you have no idea what their actual value is portion of the game. I think it's going to have something to do with like saving up weapons and only merging them if they benefit because they have the same seal, and then just trying to like stack as many, you know, like charge or special attack up faster weapons as possible. That is going to require a lot more weapon space though. Oh man, this thing is giving me flashbacks to that thing in Breath of the Wild that you absolutely could not go towards until you got all of that tiny flower poop. Alright, there's too much stuff in Central Hyrule. I have to finish some stuff here. Or not. Well, let's just have some steam tams and go to Zora's Domain. There's only like 2 missions available in Central Hyrule right now, and it'll be better if I can just know everything that's ahead of me before I dig in again. Maybe the game will just be over after this mission. I know that the first Hyrule Warriors kind of went like that. Like the majority of the content had to do with the adventure mode after the game, and I didn't even know the adventure mode really existed or what it was for a long time, and I beat the story in like 20 hours and I was like, man, what a rip. And then I bought the DLC because, you know, Ocarina of Time was the most influential and best game of all time, and Nintendo cemented its brainwashing in me in an early age, and I have to buy every single game with Link in it. So I was like, man, what a rip. But then I discovered that the adventure mode existed and I was stoked. What was I talking about? Is this Jabu Jabu? Was Jabu Jabu a king of the Zora before he became a giant whale that you go and hang out in? Also, maybe I'll aspire to be that. If I can never own real estate, maybe I can just be the real estate and people can hang out in my stomach with Baronet. Oh, my cat's here now. Nobody make this sound or it might abandon me and my meaningless existence devoid of goals or progress in order to join yours instead. I bet being a Zora would be rad. Look at those sick dangly earrings. You need to give me a pair of those. Oh, she's a wellspring of good feelings and vibes and things. If I actually knew anything about the deep lore, then I probably actually know what a wellspring meant. Unfortunately, I don't. Alright, so for this Divine Beast mission, it looks like another enormous map where I'm going to kill a bunch of very similar monsters by mashing buttons together. I'm starting to regret not playing on a higher difficulty, but I also just love being good at something for once, so maybe I'll just roll through this instant gratification roller coaster and have a good time. Or a theme park. It's a theme park, right? Is that what they're called? Theme park games? Where you just like saddle up and off you go? I think theme parks are probably going to be another one of those things that millennials just mercilessly kill. So this is the first mission where there's captains saying that they're in trouble and that they need help and stuff like that. It's giving me some flashbacks to the original Hyrule Warriors. I remember these being some of the more tenuous missions where I had to make sure that people didn't die several times. And when you're running back and forth to outposts and stuff like that, managing your resources, like your health, and I think there was a magic mechanic in that game as well. It actually became very difficult trying to keep a bunch of useless AI alive. I hope the AI in this game is actually kind of cool, because that would allow you to build other characters and give them really good equipment and send them to outposts to capture on their own, unlike every other strategy game I've ever played where the AI is so terrible that if you give them even any basic task, they manage to kill themselves in a giant burning fire pretty quickly. Kind of enjoying using Mipha. I like that her abilities just like make her dance around the battlefield a bunch, but she's doing so little damage compared to my ladle wielding lad that I just don't think I'm going to end up sticking with her very long. Pretty stoked that I was able to complete all of these objectives without any of the Zora warriors needing help at all. That's pretty tight, which means any of the keep your buddies alive missions in the future are probably going to be comparably, and I mean, easy game, easy life, right? If I want to 100% this thing on several difficulties, I hope it's kind of a walkthrough. I don't know how that works. I know in the old game there was rewards that were locked behind finishing things on higher difficulties, so maybe I'm going to have to beat the game a couple of times, once on normal and once on hard, in order to unlock everything, but I'm friggin' doing it this time. Those unlocked adventure map spaces in the first Hyrule Warriors is totally haunting me. And like, what am I about to do? Go dust off my Wii U with its encrusted gamepad because it was the only game console I could get for pretty much a decade, because again, very little disposable income to be spending on things that could be a horrible purchase that I'll have to carry with me for the rest of my life guiltily, like my father did and taught me to. Most of those things were like hockey cards though, so it isn't really like they had any kind of intrinsic value on their face, unless, you know, for some reason opening packs of hockey cards is anything but some kind of glorified form of gambling. And it's not like I wasn't into Magic the Gathering, but you can at least play with those cards, and I did for a very long time, and it was escapism for sure, but absolutely not addiction. Just FYI, nothing too crazy happening here, just killing a bunch of monsters. I did send Rivali over to the other side of the map, so I guess we'll get to test that hypothesis as to whether the AI is actually capable of clearing an outpost on their own. We'll go check in with them shortly. And it looks like Rivali has been totally and completely useless. There's nothing wrong with these moblins at all, but I guess it's my own fault because I haven't upgraded his weapons at all. I'm actually getting kind of a pang of nostalgia seeing some of the gates being blocked off here in Zora's Domain, because I miss going to those places in Breath of the Wild and, you know, finding things and getting excited about it, like with this little korok poop machine, except, you know, every time I see that korok seed symbol, it represents the meaning that I might have to collect 1,000 of something, and that's horrifying. Speaking of horrifying, look at this little guy's trembling, and like, that's how I feel every time I see a Lionel 2, bro, it's okay. Alright, this really isn't so bad. I mean, I just use the items to freeze lock him and then hit him until he breaks, and then weak point him several times. It seems like these items, just putting the enemy straight into weak point and then you can stasis them and keep them in weak point for longer, it seems like that mechanic is just totally busted. As if me exclaiming my dream of being a musician did not make me the elephant in the room at all of my family dinners, I now get to be the literal elephant in the room. Everything has coalesced and I have become my perfect self. Oh no, I have to do something besides just holding the bumper buttons to kill all the stupid enemies. Oh, I figured it out, okay. I think it's just, you know, like you fling the bridge, which is not something you generally do to bridges, but being the actual elephant in the room makes things in life a little bit different. You gotta fling a little more often. Alright, so once again, incredibly easy, just saved up my superpower and used it at the very end to clear the hard enemies. Boom, we're done, another main quest. And we get Mipha. Nice, well, maybe I'll actually get around to using her if the ladle lad doesn't turn out for me. Alright, so just going on around and unlocking some extra things. I'm starting to get used to the fact that I might have to use another character eventually, now that I've finished the first 4 main quests and realize they are not the entirety of the main story. So if I'm gonna have to use other characters just to get through the main part of the game, I'm gonna have to power them up regardless. Still, I think my main quest is going to be to finish all of the missions here in Central Hyrule, because I really gotta know what that 5th guy has to say when he's stoked about how gracious and generous I've been with my missions here. So here we go, off to another Central Hyrule mission. Oh, rad, okay, I just use a spear to kill as many Lizafoil as possible. Hell yes. Naturally, I'm going to use bombs for this job, even though this mission is meant to teach me how to use a new type of weapon, because the game is starting to get upset about how often I'm using the ladle. All told, the mission using the spear wasn't a very satisfying experience. I've heard people say that the two-handed weapons of this game are a really good time to play with, so I'm looking forward to using those instead. The spear is definitely not going to stick around. I'll probably only use it for these spear-specific missions. Alright, so just clearing out more Central Hyrule missions. It looks like these breach missions are just going to be capturing outposts, which is actually incredibly therapeutic for me. Again, the real estate thing, but also you can just mash buttons and think about the other things you want to do in your life, like start an e-commerce business or make your mom proud of you somehow finally. Just realizing now that I actually didn't unequip the spear after the last mission where I decidedly did not want to use the spear anymore. Oh well, I guess I just wanted to go for it and button mash continuously over and over again. No wonder my mom thinks I'm gonna fail. I'm like the least perceptive person on the planet. But faulty perception be damned, I still managed to breach the demise. Breach of demise, which I think means just as little grammatical sense as what I just said anyway, so whatever. Thank God the one-handed weapon necessary quest came up so that I remember to put my ladle back on. I get so low while I'm commentating some of these that it feels like I'm going for a Captain Holt, but I could never, ever achieve the greatness that is Captain Holt in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. See, it's like brutal to even listen to me try. Just like watching me try pretty much anything else. Except smash these stupid soldiers with my feckin' ladle. This is actually the first time since I died 4 times in the first mission of the game that things have kind of gotten down to the wire, but 20 seconds left and we got there. 500k hose, which I think is the most kills I've gotten since I was an elephant. Alright, we are going to master some stasis, although I feel like I already did master some stasis in the main quests when I was just using it to lock people into the break mode and then getting extra break mode time and then hitting the weak points. You know, that's just truly how you do stasis, right? Yeah, you want to use it like this. Watch. No, oh, God, yes, there. We did it. Alright, so that last outpost did it. We're just going to do away with the moblin, and it looks like we will have mastered stasis. I'm still so bad at fighting moblins. I don't think I even tried to dodge them when I originally played Breath of the Wild. I just kept repeatedly taking it on the chin like I do every time some boomer tells me that I've ruined myself and the economy around me. Hey, thanks for finishing the video. Every time you do this, you tell the algorithm monster that you care about what I do, and that means a lot to me. To thank you, I want to give you a bunch of free, no copyright music that I want you to use in your new video series, podcast, dog picture slideshow, whatever. It's all made by me, and I guarantee you won't be copy struck for it. You've been listening to it for this whole video, and you can hear more of it by clicking on the video in the top left-hand corner of your screen right now. If you're more interested in watching the official music videos for these songs with my professionally recorded vocals, then you can click on the video in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Finally, I'd really appreciate if you at least went on to the next episode of the Let's Play, which is linked in the rightmost video on your screen now. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, be empathetic to those around you. You never know what mental illness they may be suffering from and incapable of receiving help for. Take care.